What's good, Steeler Nation? My name is Jack Sperry, and this is Steelers Talk. Thanks for spending part of your weekend to talk some Steelers football with us. We got a great show for you today. We're going to be breaking down the 2023 cap situation for the Pittsburgh Steelers. We're going to be discussing whether or not the Steelers should cut William Jackson III. Big Ben went on his podcast this week and endorsed Matt Canada to return in 2023. We're going to be breaking that down as well. And then there's also a new favorite to replace Matt Canada if he gets fired. I'm going to be revealing that towards the end of the show, so stick around for that. But before we get into anything else, we have finally surpassed 20,000 subscribers here on Steelers Talk. Thank you guys so much for helping us reach this incredible accomplishment. And to celebrate today at the end of the workday, I am going to be doing a Gatorade bath. So it's pretty cold outside. It's about 50 degrees here in Dallas, Texas. I'm going to be out there. We're going to be putting a bunch of ice, a bunch of orange Gatorade, and kind of like a cooler thing, and I'm going to get dunked. All right. So if you want to watch that, here are all the ways you can do that. I'm going to be putting it on my Twitter at Jack_Sperry. If you haven't followed me already, go ahead and follow me there at SpareDogFootball, my football Instagram. I'm going to be putting it on there as well. And then we're also going to be putting it here on the community tab here on the channel. So these are the three ways you can watch it. It probably won't come out until about maybe 6 o'clock or so later in the day. But this is just an awesome accomplishment, guys. I can't believe that we've done this together, and I can't wait to continue to grow this channel as the season goes on. So help us grow even further here by subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. All offseason long, we're going to have breaking news coverage for every time there's a Steelers signing, every time the Steelers, if Matt Canada gets fired, right? If they sign J.J. Watt out of retirement, right? We're going to be doing a bunch of breaking news coverage whenever there's something big that happens for the Steelers. And then we're also going to be providing daily news and rumors content for the Pittsburgh Steelers, draft analysis, free agent analysis. We do it all here on the channel. We have a great community of over 20,000 Yinzers in the comments section now. So go ahead and subscribe right now if you haven't already. All right, so now Pittsburgh's 2023 salary cap breakdown. So Steelers Depot really did a deep dive on this and what's kind of the expected salary cap number heading into the offseason. And right now, the projected 2023 NFL salary cap is projected to be at $225 million. It's probably not going to be exactly that. We'll let you guys know when the NFL officially announces what the salary cap is going to be for next season. But the projection right now is $225 million. According to Steelers Depot. So here's the way it breaks down. So right now in active cap charges, the Steelers have $220.3 million. And then right now they have about $8 million in dead cap charges for next season as well. And then $4.4 million of unused cap space from this season rolls over to next season. And at the end of the day, when Steelers Depot crunched the numbers, they came up with the number of just $167,000 and $618, right, for cap space next year, under the limit. So it's looking like the Steelers are going to have to make some moves. They're going to have to cut some players. They're going to have to cut some pretty decent players, actually, and especially if you're going to make a splash free agent signing, right? If you're going to go get a Tremaine Edmonds, if you're going to go get a James Bradbury, right? If you're going to make one of these splash free agent signings, Isaiah Wynn, somebody that's going to cost a lot of money, it's looking like that, especially if you want to re-sign guys like Cam Sutton, Terrell Edmonds, all these guys. If you want to make all these moves in free agency, it's looking like some cuts are going to have to be made. And one of those potential cuts could be William Jackson III. Now, the Steelers traded for him at the NFL trade deadline this year, and then he got a back injury, and he just never played. He never played, and now he's scheduled to make almost $13 million in cap hit next season. And right now, the Steelers just don't know if he's going to be worth that amount of money because he didn't play for the Steelers this year. So before I give you my thoughts on what they should do with William Jackson III, go ahead and go in the comment section right now and tell me, should the Steelers cut William Jackson III? Type C if you think cut, or type K if you think keep. This is the pinned comment on today's video. So whenever you get an ad break here on the video, guys, just go to the comment section, find that pinned comment. It's going to be right there at the top and answer today's question. All right, so here's how William Jackson III's contract kind of breaks down here. He has only 1 year left on his current contract. And next year, he's scheduled to make $9.25 million in base salary, another $3.25 in roster bonus, and then $250,000 in workout bonus for a complete cap hit of $12.75 million for somebody that the Steelers don't even know is worth that kind of money because he didn't play for them this year, right? So is he an easy cut candidate? It's definitely an easy thing for Steelers fans to think, let's save that money. Let's save that money because in terms of cost, if they cut him, there's nothing guaranteed. So if they cut him now and they cut bait, they're going to save all that money and they can use that money on free agents, on re-signing new players. And, to hold on to a guy, to keep him and take that $12.75 million, it's not 17, it's 7.5 there, a million cap hit for next year, versus zero for a guy that you don't even know is going to be good for you. It seems like a good move. And then another thing that the Steelers could potentially do is re-up, which means cutting a player. You take no cap hit there, and then you sign him to a new deal, a more team-friendly deal. And that's actually the one that I would do, guys. I would re-up. If William Jackson III is willing to re-up, get cut and then sign a new contract, this is what I would be willing to offer him. 2 years, $5 million per year. So not only do you take care of the 1-year contract problem and secure him for the next 2 years, but you get him at a nice contract there, $5 million per year. I think that's a fair number for William Jackson III. Given the way that he's played the last couple of years, he hasn't produced very much. He's had injury problems. So I think $5 million is a fair offer for William Jackson III. And right now the Steelers are trying to figure out their financial situation, and you should be doing the same with our sponsor today, with Rocket Money, formerly known as Truebill. This app is absolutely fantastic, guys. It helps me with my monthly subscription problem. I'm someone that likes to spend. I'm someone that likes to add on these programs and these certain things. And to me, Rocket Money helps me with this problem a ton. The app shows me all my subscriptions in one place and then cancels for me whatever I don't still want, and it can do the same for you. Rocket Money can even find subscriptions you didn't even know that you were paying for. You may even find out you've been double charged for a subscription, just like I was with Netflix, stupidly. To cancel a subscription, all you have to do is press cancel on the Rocket Money app, and Rocket Money takes care of the rest for you. Get rid of useless subscriptions with Rocket Money now. Go to rocketmoney.com/Steelers Talk to help out the channel a little bit, but also help your financial situation. Guys, I am saving a ton of money since I started using this app again. I'm loving it. I'm saving a bunch of money. It helped me with my Christmas shopping. Inflation is tough on everybody's playbook, right? Or everybody's pocketbook, I should say. So go ahead and go to rocketmoney.com/Steelers Talk. Download the app so you can help out the channel a little bit, but also help your own pocketbook. All right, so now let's go into the next segment here, which is that Big Ben Roethlisberger endorsed Matt Canada to return to the Steelers in 2023. This is what he had to say on the Footballers podcast this week. I thought Matt did great. People talk about get rid of him, this, that, and the others, but 7-2 down the stretch, found a way. They wanted Randy Fitcher running out of here after we were putting up 30-some points a game and throwing the ball too much, and now we're running the ball a lot, and they want to throw the ball and put up points. Now let's take a look kind of at what the Steelers offense did in the last 9 games of the year, because this is what I've been hearing, guys. The offense improved. It got better in the second half, which is absolutely true, right? Points per game, 20.8 in the last 9 games. That would be good for 19th in the National Football League. That's slightly below average, but that is an improvement from the first couple of games in the first half. Yards per game, 16th, about league average. It's okay, right? Yards per play, tied for 23rd. So that's below average at that point. And then on third down is really where the Steelers did a great job. Deontay Johnson on those choice routes was really a great adjustment by Matt Canada midway through the season, putting him in the slot more, using Pat Freiermuth on choice routes on those third downs. It really did help the Steelers on third down. They were the number 1 team on third down on offense in the National Football League. So that is a credit to Matt Canada right there. But then you look back at red zone, you go back to league average at only 16th. So, and you take a look at these numbers, you also have to take into account the teams that the Steelers were playing. You look at these teams, man, there's not a lot of these wins are against teams that just plain simply aren't very good, right? You got the Colts, right? The Colts were awful, and you beat them by 1 score. Same thing with Atlanta. Awful team. You beat the Falcons, but that was just barely, and that was with Tyler Hunt. bluntly, right? You beat the Panthers that were below 500, the Raiders that were below 500, the Browns that were below 500. These teams, and you look at this list, there's not a lot of good defenses on there. The Ravens have a pretty good defense, right? The Bengals, have a good defense, but you ended up losing. And then the Saints, you put up 20 points against a pretty decent defense there, so I'll give them credit for that. But it's not like the Steelers were beating playoff caliber teams and that the offense was really dicing up good defense or putting up these average numbers against good defenses, right? This is just, and then you take a look at the defense. The defense, plain and simply, guys, was the reason why the Steelers went 7-2 to finish out the year. You take a look at these numbers, right? Second in points per game allowed, first in total yards per game allowed with TJ Watt in the lineup this year, first in takeaways and second in sacks. I mean, plain and simply, guys, the Steelers' defense was the reason why the Steelers were successful in the second half of the year. Now, Kenny Pickett and the offense did a great job not turning the ball over. That was one of the reasons why that the Steelers were able to win. They weren't turning the ball over on offense, and then they were turning the ball over on defense. They were taking the ball away, and they were protecting the football on offense, and it led to a 7-2 finish against some pretty bad teams. But still, the Steelers, I don't want to make it sound like I'm trashing the Steelers' run, guys, because I'm not. I think Mike Tomlin did a great job. I think Matt Canada improved. I thought Kenny Pickett played really well, and I'm really excited about the future. But we have to take a look at the entire picture here and say, oh, just because we finished 7-2, that means Matt Canada is a good coordinator. That's not necessarily the case. So let me know in the comment section, should the Steelers fire Matt Canada? Type Y for yes or type N for no. Now let's talk a little bit about Mike Florio, who was on Pro Football Talk. He's talking about this situation, and he also thinks that Matt Canada should return, and he has a specific focus on Kenny Pickett. So this is what he has to say. Why disrupt it if it's starting to work with Kenny Pickett? Why bring in a new personality, a new coach with a new offense? Why do you want to put Kenny Pickett through that? How many quarterbacks have we seen in recent years who have this revolving door of offensive coordinators and terminology and scheme, and it keeps them from becoming the best quarterback they can be? And he continues to go on and say, if you're all in on Kenny Pickett and believe that he's got the potential to be great, you hamper him if you get rid of Matt Canada and hire a new offensive coordinator at this point. Now, I think that the logic here isn't necessarily sound for Mike Florio. Now, yes, Kenny Pickett, I think, has a chance to be a pretty darn good quarterback in this league, someone that can win playoff games for the Steelers. I really like him, but I think the logic goes, if you think Kenny Pickett is the future, you just got to get him with the right guy. You don't have to just keep him with the right person, right? If you keep him and you have a college-style offense with Matt Canada, and he's not the long-term answer at that position, offensive coordinator, then you're not doing him any favors. You want to pair him with the right play caller, not necessarily the same play caller. And I want to go and get somebody that can bring in a QB-friendly system for Kenny Pickett. Matt Canada's system isn't exactly the easiest on quarterbacks, and I want someone that can bring in and make things easier on KP8. So just because it's the same person doesn't necessarily mean it makes it easier for the quarterback. So in my opinion, I don't think that this argument has much weight to it. But if they end up firing Canada, okay, Andrew Filipponi, he's a Steelers guy here on Twitter here, and I don't agree with a lot of his takes, but he does do some nice reporting here. He is reporting that Duce Staley, okay, the running backs coach for the Detroit Lions, is one of the favorites if they end up parting ways with Matt Canada this year. He's a former Steeler. He's kind of, he's got the type of personality that Mike Tomlin likes, right? He's a motivator. He's tough. He's someone that's a former player. He's somebody that Mike Tomlin would like to bring in my opinion. And at the end of the day, guys, if Canada gets fired, I think that, everything lines up for Staley to be at least on the short list, right? To get an interview for the job. Now, it's possible that he interviews, it's not a great interview. Maybe it's not the right scheme fit, whatever it may be. But in terms of, getting the right fit here, it seems like the pieces are starting to come together for Duce Staley to have a shot if Matt Canada gets fired. All right, guys, go in the comment section right now and tell me, would Duce Staley be a successful Steelers offensive coordinator? Type 1 if you think yes, or type 0 if you think no. All right, now let's finish up the show here with some final news items here. Cam Hayward on a podcast this week confirmed that he is returning. Now, we were expecting him to come back. You know, he is getting a bit on the older side, but we did expect him back for 23. He confirmed it this week. He will be a Pittsburgh Steeler next season. Then you got Minka, who was an AP and NFLPA All-Pro selection. It was announced, the AP was announced today. The NFLPA was announced earlier this week, and he absolutely deserves it. He is by far, in my opinion, the best free safety in the National Football League. The only guy that really comes close is Budda Baker. But, you know, you look at the way that Minka affects a football game. Like I say, guys, he just fucks shit up, and he does it better than anybody else in the league, in my opinion. And then Kenny Pickett finished on the NFL.com's QB index on 20th in the league. Okay, so at the end of the day, I'm looking forward to what Kenny Pickett is going to be able to do in the future. I thought he ended the season well, and I can't wait to see what he can do in the future. But 20th, I think, is probably about right at this point in his career. All right, guys, I got one last question before I say goodbye. Are you a true Yinzer? If you made it to the end of the video, you are a true Yinzer. You are a real one. We really appreciate when you guys make it to the end of the video, guys. It helps the algorithm get our videos to new Steelers fans and help us grow. So we really do appreciate it. So type Yinzer for life in all caps if you helped us and got it to the end of the video today. That'll be it for today's video, guys. I will see you tomorrow, Steeler Nation. Peace.